good day, and I love you. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for sharing, and thank you for being here. I'm going to try to put some things together and share about myself, but I'm not just sharing for me. Venus is square Saturn in my own personal chart right now. It just feels like nothing feels good. There's just no comfort. But since I studied it, I knew it was coming. So I prepared for it. Most every aspect of my life is, well, not anymore, but it was uncomfortable and very unstable and unsure. At least it feels like that, you know? And I don't have the answers I desire. And they were not coming fast enough. And just felt like shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know what I mean? Well, you know, there's that part of me, that critical parent. We should have done this. Well, if you'd done that, we could have done... Well, look, right? And I know none of that is useful. So, why are you in the middle of the road? Why do people do these things? Maybe it's his first day driving. Why do people do these things? Why did I decide to drive off a driveway yesterday? See? There it is. There's that criticism, that judgment, that nastiness rearing its head. That wasn't kind. That wasn't kind at all. And I'm thankful for that. Because when I do it to someone else, I get to see. But I do it to myself a lot and I don't see. You know what I mean? Until I see, right? So, I was thinking about some things. I was thinking about two things. I again asked the universe to show me who I am in the eyes of others. I did it once before last year. It was awesome. And so, I got the answers. In fact, I got the answers with such uncanny synchronicity that it was mind-blowing. Literally, this one man from high school said, "You were queen bee in high school. You were queen bee of your class. When you were in the hallway, you were like, this is my hallway." But the fact that he said queen bee, right? So then it got me thinking back to when I was younger, before I felt like I got engineered. You know what I mean? Before, like, I let some shitty programs kick in. So that was a double whammy in such a good way, because first of all, the terminology that he chose to use, you know, that he said queen bee, I was like, that's wild. And then that this was from when I was like 14, 15, 16, you know? So, remember the other day I said, think back to who you were before you and others decided who you were, right? So I was grateful for the memory snapshot of when I was younger. And then I was thinking about when my son was little. He just spoke his mind, and he was so articulate, and he was so in touch with his feelings that it was wild to hear a little person say what they wanted and be able to verbalize what he could verbalize about how he felt. It was just wild. And it was so much, and it was so mind-blowing. I had a friend that called him the director, because he was just like, you know what I mean? And, you know, he knew what he wanted and when he wanted it, and he would say it. And sometimes, you know, it wasn't what you wanted to hear. Like, sometimes he would say something that hurt your feelings, you know? He would tell you he didn't like this, and you had really done a lot to prepare for it. Or, you know, like when he would go and visit his dad, if he didn't want to sleep over, he would tell him, he's like, I want to go home. You know, I want you to call mom. I want to go home. You know, when he was little, and I'm sure that hurt his dad's feelings. And, but he didn't do it to hurt anyone's feelings. He did it because he didn't harbor any shame about articulating the way he felt. And so he was just so forthcoming, and because he was able to verbalize him, you know, what he felt so well, it left all of us grown-ups on the other side, like, okay, got it, you know? I mean, I've seen his dad respond like that when he was younger. I've seen my parents, it was wild to see my dad, like, you know, it's like we're all taking orders from a 2.5-year-old, like from a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. And he wasn't barking orders. It wasn't like that. You know, he wasn't like out of check at all. It was like, he was so earnest and he was so pure that it was, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say dismantling, but that's not the word. Disarming. Literally, like, you just were like, yes, okay, of course. I'm glad to help you. Thank you for letting me know. That's the way it felt. It felt like, but it was disarming because it was so straight to the point. You know what I mean? From a little person. Like, you just didn't argue. So, I was thinking about, you know, we come to this earth so very capable and so attached. You know, there's a higher part of us that is quantum and interdimensional and ever present and always chatting with God. Like, it's the best way I can think of to say it, you know? And that part is, as we are in communication with that part of ourselves as much as we want to be and learn to be. And then there are aspects of self, well, we won't go there. There's so much help in, you know, when we're on this earth. There's a red-tailed hawk flying over me right now, like playing in circles. I'll have to show you. I wonder if I can show you. Oh, I shouldn't do that while I'm driving. We have ancestors, past, present, future, quantumly available. Don't care how crazy that sounds. There's help in all forms on this very earth. The planet herself is designed to assist. So there's infinite communication and infinite solution streaming, which tells me that if I trust that I'm always where I'm supposed to be, exactly at the right time, exactly at the right place, and the solutions are being presented in divine timing, then really, as cliche as it sounds, if I just need to sit back and get really, really honed in on who I want to be and what I want it to look like, right? And then just put the other stuff to the side. You know, turn that cheek, like Jesus said. See it with your left eye. I see you 3D. I see that, ooh, nasty situation. I see, ooh, don't like that a bit. And don't want to deal with more of that, right? But my right eye is trained on what I do want, who I do want to be, what I do want it to look like. And my body is facing that way. My hips, you know, I'm an athlete. You want to watch the way someone's going to turn when they're coming at you? Watch their hips. Don't watch the ball. Don't watch their feet. Don't watch their hands. Watch their hips. My hips are trained forward with that right eye, where I'm going to keep it moving in the right direction for what I do want. And if I get so good at that, process, then I notice myself showing up in the solution, more solutions appearing, that person with the answer, that, you know, that place at the right time, that the stuff that used to give me a stomach ache just makes me shake my head now. Maybe even send love. That the stuff that had me locked in fear is an opportunity for me to realize that if I'm fearful of dealing with it, then I'm not approaching it with the right mindset. Then I'm not seeing an almighty solution, an audacious freaking upgrade, trusting that it's on its way. That's my problem. You know what I mean? And I'm speaking very personally. And I've had a shit show. But I don't believe in a malicious, universe that just like, you know, a God that heckles me. What do you want to throw at Heather today? You don't want to come see how she deals? Right? You know? I believe in exactly the opposite, actually. I believe in like, yo, we all know Heather came to evolve. Want to gather around and offer more solutions, knowing that she's in the flow? Isn't it fun to watch her show up? I had to take some time to get quiet and get here, you know. That's why I haven't been here. I really had to give myself comfort and acceptance and understand, and even celebration. Like, you know, this is like the moon is aspecting like everything in Capricorn right now, you know, freaking everything. Well, not everything, but Mars and Pluto and Jupiter and the South Node, just the biggest planets in the universe, filled with fire. And so, you know, everything's on fire. And so what do I want to burn? What situations am I held hostage in? Because I understand that I am the problem and the solution. And so I understood that I had to get in a place of audacious trust that it's all as it's supposed to be. And then I had to get seated in the solution again and get really, really focused on it. But it's really hard to do when you're sitting in a lot of fear. So then I had to ask myself what I needed to travel from that fear and from that just being done to back to, wow, inspired, taking action. Life is so beautiful, right? What did I need? And what I found was I needed a whole lot of comfort and a whole lot of validation. And that's when I asked the universe to show me through who I am in the eyes of others. And all of these, I just got all these random, you know, tidbits and connections and hookups, and I get to see how I've done so much growing. You know, I'm not the person I used to be. Shit, I sat in a meeting last night where, a meeting of my recovery, where I was like, this dude was talking about old fucks and their sobriety, and I was like, I said to him too, I was like, holy shit, I'm an old fuck. And his honesty brought me back to 13 years ago. How I felt when I just couldn't get sober. And then I'm like, oh my God, not only am I totally sober, I'm like so showing up to life. You know? Go Heather. Go Heather. You don't have all the answers. Doesn't feel like you want it to feel right now. It's not looking like you want it to look. But whoa, Heather, whoa. Check you out. You know? You're not the same as you used to be. You're not ducking out. You're here. So I invite you to do that for yourself. To use this full moon that's coming and ask the universe to show you who you are in the eyes of others if you're not in a place right now to give yourself the comfort and validation that might be needed to help you settle down and balance so that you can step into the next right action. And remember that life is beautiful and solutions are eminent. And when is it new? Now. When do you start over? Now. When is the solution here? Now. Right? So, I love you. I love each and every one of you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for your truth and your bravery. And I am grateful to be here with you all. I'm sorry, I'm in a soccer parking lot now. I love you. Bye.